Bumble is a dating app, and it is now a public company. At the time this video is made, the stock looks like it's on its way up. Let's talk about how it might fit in your portfolio. We're going to talk about the pros and the cons, and if this is the type of content you've been looking for, please hit that like button for me, and let's get started. So unless you're older than, let's say, 40, you probably know Bumble is a dating app. It's competing with Tinder, Grindr, Match.com directly, probably Clover, a shit ton of products out there. And these products all have been around and been iterating and improving for years and years and years. There's a reason why there's a shit ton of these companies though. Because ultimately dating,
Fajita.
frankly, they're half of the Maslow's triangle of the meaning of life. If your product can be the vessel that facilitates happiness, bring meaning to your life, you're going to make a shit ton of money. For example, Facebook connects people. That brings happiness. TikTok makes you laugh, and horny, depending on which channel you follow. That brings us happiness. Viagra, there's iterations of this idea in all the industries out there. Food, movies, work. Any product that falls into this space has a potential to make a lot of money because people are willing to use it and people are willing to pay for it. As long as it has social validation that it works, it has a chance to become incredibly profitable and viral. Now you might be asking, there's a lot of competitors out there. Is there still room for a company like Bumble? My honest opinion is that each of these apps, they serve a very specific niche to either dating or
Fajita.
has built their brand around the representation of their brand and the people that uses it. Some may not even have done it on purpose. For example, Tinder, they keep talking about it's an app for serious relationships and dating, but we all know it's filled with f***ers and girls, right? Every news article talks about it like that. But because the market is so huge and people choose, based on the user experience, they choose which product is good for them for whatever activity it is. These segmentation is created for each app. Bumble has always stuck to this whole save, find true love, female first approach in online dating. That is serious marketing that can only be had, in my opinion, with a female CEO and a team that just keeps building around this idea, right? You can't just say that and be, let's say, sued for misogyny, because that happened in some of the competitors. Or you just see the user experience. You might say that this is for serious and dating and people are not using it for such. People are going to review it, say that it is not for finding true love. It's not gonna stick. This in turn also means that the people that use Bumble, they're kind of self-filtering, right? They look at the app, they realize that they're part of this segment, their core demographic, they're gonna use this app. If they're not, they automatically use a different product. That means that this community will get tighter and get more and more viral based on the app's ideals. And that's great because the market, again, is huge. And at the same time, if you talk to people who use Bumble, most of them I know, they have 4 or 5 apps installed on their phone. So even if you look at it as a quote unquote saturated market, people who in practice use these apps, it's not really saturated because they're just doubling down. They're using everything and they're using it for different purposes, right? So it's not like I'm using Tinder. I'm in that part of my life. I'm not looking for a serious relationship. People are doing both. And even if they were doing one thing after another, you can totally look at it as almost of a graduation model, right? When you're young, you're
Fajita.
around. And when you become, let's say, more mature, eventually when you're looking for more serious relationships, which is I think most people, you can switch to a product that is more like Bumble. And then on top of that, if you look at Bumble's financials, they are going for this sturdy, slow and steady approach. That's what I'm seeing. There is no explosive growth opportunity, at least not that I can see right now. But if they play their game right, play their game tight, I think this is a very, very good long-term hold. Because in my opinion, two things going to happen. They're going to keep growing their brand and becomes bigger and bigger because ultimately you can tell that the brand really cares about their image and has always been consistent with their image. So that's great news. People are not going to second guess what they're doing. They need to build a bigger moat, which I'll talk about in a bit. But that's one pro. They're just going to keep getting more and more viral effect out of it, and it's going to almost be bacterial-like. We eventually reach this critical mass that it's going to get bigger and bigger. And if it doesn't, it still has a very, very significant brand love and a lot of revenue. So the worst case scenario, they're going to get bought out eventually. And I don't think that it will be a fire sale. Now, the first con is, in my opinion, the fact that their biggest competitor is Match.com. And that is problematic because Match.com made about, I think, $2 billion in 1 year, which is much, much more money than what Bumble is doing. And it's because they own 45 online dating companies worldwide. OkCupid, Tinder, Plenty of Fish, and a ton of others. Just looking at the search engine optimization play of owning all of these, and also the fact that you own all of these products means that you have all sorts of data insights from the users that are using these separate products. They're going to share that insight. Inevitably, they're going to share that insight and grow their business and create stronger and stronger segmentation. And that makes Match.com a lot safer investment. And just putting out there, I know at least 3 people who use OkCupid to find true love, and they're very, very happy today. So Match.com has that field covered. But still, I just want to point out there's still room for companies like Bumble to be around, because it's the same reason why different social media iterations keeps popping up. Technology changes, and if you are able to unlock that technology, leverage it to make your product better, you're going to win. And since Bumble has a great starting point for what it is and a great image, if they can harness new technology and perhaps create something that's patentable, then they're going to be winning. An example is when Peloton, a long while ago, when they went public, I was one of the very, very few that put out a video saying that Peloton is going to kick it out of the ballpark because they patented the gamification of their product and sued someone who copied it and won that lawsuit. That means that no one else is essentially allowed to have their user experience. If Bumble can pull that off, they have a great shot. They're going to make a shit ton of money. That's what every company needs. And I'm hoping that Bumble can do the same because, as I said, technology changes. You can create some VR experience for dating, et cetera, right? There's a lot of things that you can do in this kind of space. A lot of fun things, a lot of serious things, a lot of psychology, sociology kind of things. I am very much optimistic for a company like this because I'm a hopeless romantic, so I believe in companies like this. The second con I do want to point out is that I do not think they have a strong moat right now. They're doing well, they have a great brand image, and that is what's creating their growth, but I strongly believe that they need to create better product differentiation. These features need to be even not patentable, but hard to copy. In other words, probably features that's more specific to their demographic and their user experience. That will be excellent. Because if you don't do that, Snapchat's a great example. Snapchat puts out stories, Instagram puts out reels, Instagram does a better job and just dominates. At the end of the day, would I invest in Bumble? I will put a little bit of money in it. I'm a little bit hesitant about the competition, but also their PS ratio is at 10, 11-ish, and Match Group's PS ratio is around 16. So in my opinion, Bumble is undervalued at this time. And furthermore, what you can do is that Match's earning comes out first. So you might not do a long-term hold. You might look at how well Match.com is performing, and that gives you some indicators of the entire space of online dating. And based on that, you can make a judgment call. And I think that however they're doing, Bumble will follow very closely because, as I said, a lot of people who are using the products, they're using both. I also want to point out one other thing that is really, really positive in terms of investing in a company like Bumble right now, and that is because COVID is causing still lockdowns, a lot of remote activity. A product like Bumble can create that social connection. So therefore, products like Match, products like Bumble, in my opinion, as long as COVID is going on, they're gonna continue to do well. All right, guys, this is what I wanted to put out for you today. If you have any questions or concerns, please leave me a note. If you have any suggestions for what you want me to talk about next, leave me a comment as well. I'll definitely participate and see what I can do for you. Thanks for watching, and I look forward to working with you next time.